What's up, YouTube? I'm back again with another video. I'm gonna say this. I've recorded this video once before, changed the topic because I was getting in my head about the topic, talked to some people, then came back, and now I'm doing a whole new video about the same initial topic. So I actually had this video for Monday. I know it's Tuesday, but I'm gonna talk about it and put it out there because I want people to be able to come to my YouTube channel and learn something or be inspired in whatever I put out there, you know. So in this current phase of me building this YouTube channel, I'm putting this type of stuff out. Later on down the road, I may be putting something else out, but whatever it is that I'm putting out, I'm hoping that you all can come, be inspired, be willing to learn, be willing to evolve yourself as I am currently evolving in life. So let's get into the video.
Wait, no, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is.
So this video is actually gonna be an open letter to parents. And in this open letter to parents, it is going to basically be based around not being your child's first bully. And before I go into detail about this video, I'm gonna read you all the definition of what a bully is. A person who habitually seeks to harm or intimidate those who are perceived as vulnerable. So it goes without saying who's the vulnerable person in the situation, your kids. Being careful not to be that bully. And that can be in many different facets of your child's life. It could be that you feel that your child is not smart or they're not picking up on something, so you quick to call them a dummy, slow, retarded, or whatever. It could be your son or daughter wanting to live an alternative lifestyle, you know, be part of the LGBTQIA community, and you don't agree with it, so you say whatever terms you want to use to for it to come off derogatory, that you displeased at whatever they decided to do with their life. It could be you just used to seeing what your mom did, you know, with you and your siblings, so you doing it to your child, hollering and fussing at them, getting up early in the morning, so you tell them, get up, get up, get up. You don't understand how that is affecting your child. Them having to get up to go to school, you getting up and you're fussing and you hollering and cussing at them, telling them don't make you late, don't make you do this, that, and the third. And so they've dealt with your anger and your way of communicating with them. Then they have to go to school and deal with the communication from the teachers, the other students. And you don't understand how that is going to have a lasting effect on them, especially being their bully. I think that a lot of people in society, and I see this a lot, you have your kids and you're wanting them to fear you. So you're always coming at them with this certain persona about yourself because you want your child to fear you. But you have to be careful with that, because it's better to have your child respect you than for them to fear you, because that fear is only going to last for so long. When that child becomes an adult and they realize that you or whoever you are, or they find out who they are, they come into their own, they're not going to necessarily fear you like the way you think that they are going to. And then because the relationship between you and them was not built on respect, they're not going to have that level of respect that you think that you should have as that child's parent. If anything, they're going to look at you as a bully. I think that has to be a really hard feeling. Not a really hard feeling. There has to be a really hard thing for a parent to have an adult child that does not want anything to do with them. They don't want to have anything to do with you because you were their first bully. You was the one that told them that they could not do something, or they were not smart enough to do something, or every time they talked to you, you was hollering and fussing at them. And then whenever you were saying something to them growing up. You never talked to them, you talked at them. And I can almost guarantee, even you that have kids right now, some of you, there's somebody out there right now that if your child was able to speak freely to you about a lot of stuff, it would hurt your feelings because you've based your parenthood around being that child's bully or being that person that that child is supposed to fear instead of respect. It happens a lot. And I know while I'm going on this rant about this, you may look at me like, okay, well, why is he saying all this about a child when he doesn't have a child? I don't have to smoke crack to be able to help a crackhead. And while I don't have kids, I'm somebody's child. And I can tell you from some of the things that I went through as a kid, some of that stuff will have lasting effects on a person, where that dysfunctional childhood makes a dysfunctional adult. And if that person does not do the work that they need to do, whether it's through counseling, prayer, because I'm never going to discredit the power of prayer, but whatever work that they need to do, if that person doesn't do that, they're walking around being the same dysfunctional child in an adult body because they never did the work. And it all stemmed from the parent and that parent bullying that child. It's really sad. A lot of times parents will bully a child because maybe it was something that they did not get to do in their life. So you're trying to bully your child into being exactly what you want it to be, but you didn't have the courage because your parents bullied you into doing something that you didn't really want to do. And it's a forever cycle, but we have to break that chain. And just because it worked with grandmama and great grandmama, it doesn't necessarily, it may not necessarily work with your child. It may not necessarily work. This is a different generation. Children are not built the same. We are not the same generation that's going to let parents and grandparents talk reckless to us, and we just going to stay there. Most people are becoming more and more in tune with protecting their peace and making sure that the energy around them is good. A lot of people are getting away from the traditions of church and you know, allowing, you know, this person to say this, that, and third, because that's what the Bible says to do. A lot of people are getting away from that. And in people getting away from that, you know, you can't come at a person the same way that you could 20 or 30 years ago just because they're younger than you. And because you're this age and they're supposed to just automatically have this respect because you are this senior person in society. Kids and young people don't think the same way. But yeah, just be conscious of not being your child's first bully. And I see it a lot. I see it, especially with me being a part of the LGBTQIA community. I see it a lot whenever I see a parent finding out that their child is teeter-tottering on the LGBT fence, where they may be suspected to be gay or suspected to be a lesbian, and the parent, because a lot of times you make it about you. You make your child's sexual orientation about you whenever it had nothing to do with you. Your child deciding to be gay or lesbian or bisexual had nothing to do with you whatsoever. But you'll make it about you, and you'll cuss them out and call them all type of names. I know for myself, and this may be pretty transparent, but I remember being called sissy before I even knew what a sissy was. And then I also know that even in my adult life, it's something that I had to work on, where being called a dummy is a trigger for me. Where if somebody calls me a dummy, I take that as disrespect over something else, because that was something that I heard growing up, being called a dummy. I've never understood, why would you call a child a dummy? That's bullying to me. But it goes back to those words being lasting things in that person's life. But in closing, understand this. You are that child's first interaction when it comes to being once they're born, you're their first interaction. You're setting the tone for that young person that's coming behind you's life. You're setting the tone for a lot of stuff. The world is not going to be fair to them. The world is going to bully them. The world is going to give it to them how they get it. So you should always strive to be that one source of unconditional love. That one source that they know that if they can't talk to anybody else in the world, they can come to you and they can talk to you. And I'm not saying just let your child come tell you anything, or, you know, but I think that you should lead with a mindset to keep those lines of communication open with you and your child. And I promise you that it'll help you out in the long run. One thing that I will say also is I'm glad that I'm older now. Like I'm on the fence about a kid myself, but if I had a child now at this point in phase in life, I would be a great parent because I've done a lot of work on myself. I've done a lot of research on different things. I'm pretty sure I won't get it 100% right, but I think that I would lead with a mindset that I understand that is a young person that is going to have their own thought process, their own way of doing things, and they don't have to do it exactly the way I do it as long as the end result is still the same. I think it's good that you allow a child to be able to think for themselves. There's a lot of people who are adults now because their parents never allowed them to think on their own or do anything on their own. They're now adults that don't know how to handle business, as they call it, because they've never had to handle business. The parent was always there making every decision for them. You know, they don't even know how to do simple process of elimination because their parents did everything for them. But understand that you are that child's first interaction with another human, and you're going to set the tone for that young person to become an adult. And if you are being that child's bully, that can have a negative effect on your relationship as they get older, where they lash out at you because of certain things, because you did it because your grandparents and your mama and your dad and your siblings did it to their kids. So you just want to lead in doing, fussing at them, calling them all type of names. And then when they cuss you out whenever they're 19 or 20, you're going to look at them as disrespect. But you don't understand respect is a two-way street. And just because that child is 5 years old doesn't mean that you don't have to respect them. Their words still have value. Their feelings still matter. And they're not going to always be a child. They're not going to always be a kid. And those roles are going to reverse one day. And you're going to look back and you're going to wish that you would have did things different. But maybe this helps somebody, maybe not. I've been on this rant for a while now. Hopefully it helps somebody. I redid this video because I wanted to make sure I hit certain points instead of it seeming like I'm just being one-sided with my thought process. If you look at yourself and you feel that you're a great parent, kudos to you. Continue to be a great parent. And I'm out.
See if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is